A single wooden sign marks the boundary, but does it actually secure a future for the Amazon?
Today's date is May 18th, 2025. The Brazilian government has finally recognized the Sare-Moibu indigenous territory. This comes after nearly 20 years of effort by the Munduruku people. To get us started, can you walk us through what triggered this breakthrough now, especially after all those delays?
The process actually started back in 2007, but it was held up for years by political interests and pressure from mining companies. The real shift happened in 2014. This is when the Munduruku began self-demarcating their territory. They literally put up boundary markers themselves and started removing invaders. That action caught national attention and encouraged other indigenous groups to do the same.
Self-demarcation. So, just to clarify, they marked out the territory themselves without waiting for the government?
That's right. They didn't wait for any official process. They took initiative, and that move set a precedent. Still, the actual legal recognition only came on September 25, 2024, when Justice Minister Ricardo Lewandowski signed the ordinance. This gave the Munduruku legal rights to more than 178,000 hectares in Pará state.
And this isn't just about one group gaining land, right? This is actually a constitutional right for them.
Yes, exactly. At the signing, Lewandowski actually said, "We are not doing a favor, a kindness. We are recognizing a constitutional right." That statement matters, especially since the Marco-temporal thesis is still hanging over these decisions.
Marco-temporal, that's the theory, saying indigenous groups can only claim land they physically occupied in 1988, right? The year of Brazil's constitution?
Exactly. That legal theory has been used to block many demarcation efforts, so getting Sare-Moibu recognized under these political circumstances is a big deal. It's a victory for indigenous rights and also for environmental protection.
Why does this territory matter so much for the environment? What makes it special?
Sare-Moibu is located between the Tapajós and Jamanxim rivers, in a region facing threats like illegal logging, mining, and proposed hydroelectric dams. Statistically, indigenous territories in the Amazon have the lowest rates of deforestation. By securing this land, the Munduruku are protecting biodiversity and helping buffer climate change impacts.
Since the recognition, have things actually changed on the ground? Are illegal activities like logging or mining decreasing?
There have been some improvements. For example, the government supported the Munduruku indigenous land removal operation, which did reduce illegal mining. But as João Caba Munduruku pointed out, there's still concern that miners could come back. Recognition is a step, but enforcement is a separate challenge.
So what's next? Is the land fully protected now, or is there more to be done?
There's still work ahead. Physical demarcation has to be completed, illegal occupants need to be removed, and then the final titling process. Plus, the Munduruku are also working to protect neighboring territories, like Sare-Bepin. At the same time, there are legislative threats. Some proposals could weaken indigenous rights further.
So this isn't just a local battle. What impact does this have on other indigenous groups across Brazil?
Recognition of Sare-Moibu definitely gives hope. But many groups remain stuck because of the Marco-temporal thesis. That's being pushed by agribusiness interests, and it would deny claims if groups weren't on the land in 1988. The Munduruku's resistance, including their protests against Law 14701/23, is setting both legal and social precedent.
Let's zoom out a bit. What about the global implications? Does international support actually make a difference in these cases?
It does help. Organizations like Amazon Watch and Greenpeace Brazil provide resources and bring visibility. International advocacy adds pressure on both the government and companies. Plus, legal frameworks like the International Labor Organization's Convention 169 support indigenous claims.
So, can international attention really secure these territories for the long term?
It can't guarantee it, but it makes a difference. Global awareness brings more funding and legal tools, and it keeps the issue in the public eye. Still, local action and vigilance are critical. The Munduruku's experience shows that persistent advocacy can push governments to act, even when it seems unlikely.
So, if we sum up, after 17 years, the Munduruku have legal recognition of their ancestral land. It's a legal, environmental, and social milestone, but there's still a need for enforcement and broader legislative reforms. International support matters, but it can't replace local action.
That's right. The struggle isn't over, but this marks a real turning point. Protecting indigenous lands isn't only about justice. It may be one of the most effective ways to safeguard the Amazon and the climate overall.
A single sign out in the forest might not stop the chainsaws, but it does signal a new chapter. Thanks for joining us as we unpacked this moment.
Thank you for listening. Stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, the Amazon's future is connected to all of ours.